Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day. I want to show you how to make your own template so that you can do fussy cutting, or say you wanted to do an I Spy quilt and have each shape a separate picture. There's so many unique fabrics that you can use and make something like that. So for example, I made all these little honeycombs. I used my own template and it did not cost me but a few cents to make, but you can see I can make these pieces so that when they go together, they create these really unique designs. So here's another one that I did. Now let me show you what you need to get started. You're gonna need a metal ruler. You're gonna need a quilting ruler, some markers, an X-Acto, and some clear tape. This right here is actually just an insert from one of these fabric bundles that you can buy at most of the stores nowadays, and I just pulled it out. It's really thick cardboard, so it's great to use for these. So for these honeycombs, this is actually one of the paper pieces. Now what I did is I just put that down, I took a marker, and I just drew around it. The next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my quilting ruler, and I'm going to use this ruler because you can actually see through it and you know exactly what your measurement is. And then because I'm fussy cutting, I like it to have a bigger seam allowance so that while I'm sewing it, I can move it around just a little bit. So right here, I am doing a 1/2 inch. I know most people use about 1/4 inch, but for this, I am going to use a 1/2 inch. It will be generous. So you can see I've gone around it and I've marked it. Now the first thing you're going to do after you get it all marked is you're going to take your X-Acto and your metal ruler. The reason you're going to use your metal ruler is because this X-Acto blade will cut through the sides of your ruler, and then it will no longer be a straight edge on the side of your ruler. So use a metal ruler, and you're going to have to probably score it a few times, especially if you're using something as thick as this one. So this one I've already scored, but I have not marked the edges. So let me mark the edges on this one for you. Oh, and then one other thing you're going to need, you're going to want heavy duty scissors, because you're going to use those heavy duty scissors to cut off the outside edge. You can use your X-Acto if you want, but the heavy duty scissors will be probably just as fine. So you can see I'm just doing a 1/2 inch all the way around. And this is going to give me a wonderful window to use to line everything up. Let me just make sure. So this edge is a little bit more than I thought. Okay, so here we have it. I've already cut out the center like I said, so I'll just punch that through. I do have my heavy duty scissors, so let's see if this will cut. Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this out. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can see the one end down here did get cut off, and that's fine. That's still enough for a seam allowance. But if you make your own template, you may want to push it up a little bit further on the board. I certainly could have. I had enough room to. Okay, so this is now cut out. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take that clear tape and I'm going to put it right over the hole. You see that? And I'm going to put it on the other side too. So it's kind of like it's sandwiched between this tape. I'm just going to trim this tape off the edges. make sure there's no holes. I may want to go the other way as well. I'm going to go the other way one time as well, just to make sure I don't have any gaps in my template, because I am going to write on this. And I apologize, the tape is starting to look dirty because it's picking up all the shavings from the paper that we just cut. So there you go. You can see I've wrapped it really well now. Now, one thing you can do after you've done this, okay, so it's not gorgeous. It does not look like one you bought at the store, but I promise it will work just as good. So you're going to take whatever fabric that you want to fussy cut. So I have these cats here. Say I wanted to fussy cut the cats. I could turn it around and figure out which way I want it for each one. And then I would take my marker. Right now all I have are Sharpies, so they are permanent markers. But I'm going to figure out what detail I want on this face, and then I'm going to draw it out. So let's see, where's that cupcake fabric that I had earlier? That one will probably show a little better. So say we're using the cupcake, and I want to use only the yellow cupcakes. You can see that fits in this shape really well. And I'm going to draw around this cupcake. So I know this is for the yellow cupcake, and I can line it up for each time I want to do a yellow cupcake. Now, what else do I need to do? Let's see, I don't actually have my fabric marker up here, so I'll just go ahead and use a regular marker. You guys use your fabric markers. And then I'm just going to go around the edge of this template and mark it. And then when I open it up, I have my shape to cut. And then when I go to put it on my paper piece, it's going to fit perfect. And I'm just going to put that in the middle of the seam allowance. I do like to pin them, so if you have a hole punch or something that you want to use, that's fine. I sometimes pin through the papers, as you can see right here. But anyway, I'd love to hear all of your questions. I hope that you're able to do this technique so you don't have to always buy the expensive templates to go with your different shapes. You can do this technique with any shape that you have. Just do an outline of it, and then you're good to go. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe. Find me on Facebook. Go to the show notes. I'll have all the links in there. Thank you so much, and happy sewing.